In 1957, Colonel Dr. Irina Spalko and a convoy of Soviet operatives dressed as American troops invade a military outpost in the Nevada desert. They have kidnapped archaeologist Indiana Jones and are forcing him to accompany them to a container in Hangar 51 that contains the bones of an alien species that crashed 10 years ago in Roswell, New Mexico. Indy searches for the package, which has magnetic characteristics, using both gunpowder and shot. Indiana tries to flee but is stopped by his buddy Mac, who discloses that he is collaborating with the Soviets. Indiana escapes on a rocket sled into the desert after a skirmish and an elaborate vehicle pursuit through the warehouse, where he stumbles onto a nuclear test village and survives a nuclear bomb by hiding in a lead-lined refrigerator. While being debriefed, Indiana learns that he is being investigated by the FBI because to Mac's links to the Soviets. Indiana returns to Marshall College, where he is offered an indefinite leave of absence in order to avoid dismissal due to the inquiry. Indiana is stopped at a train station by Greaser Mutt Williams, who informs him that his former colleague, Harold Oxley, has vanished after uncovering a crystal skull near the Nazca lines in Peru. Jones and Mutt visit a nearby cafe and talk about Akator, also known as El Dorado, crystal skulls, and the Uga tribe. Mutt delivers a letter from Oxley to Indy. When Soviet operatives approach them, a pursuit on the campus grounds begins. Indiana discovers that the Soviets were following Mutt in order to decipher Oxley's message. Indiana and Mutt find in Peru that Oxley was imprisoned in a church-run mental facility until he was seized by the Soviets. Indiana discovers traces to the burial of Francisco de Orellana, a conquistador who went missing in the 1500s while searching for Akator, in Oxley's previous cell. Oxley translated the TRM return into several languages. Indiana discovers Oxley's crystal skull, which he concealed in Orellana's tomb. The Soviets apprehend Indiana and Mutt and transport them to the camp where Oxley is being held, along with Mutt's mother, and Indiana's ex-lover, Marion Ravenwood. Indiana discovers that the Soviets think the skull, which magnetically attracts even non-ferrous items, is from an alien life form and possesses enormous psychic power. Oxley has had a mental collapse as a result of overexposure to the skull's properties. Marion reveals Mutt's true identity is Henry Jones III, and he is Indiana's son. The four flee the Soviets, resulting in a protracted car pursuit that includes a sword duel between Mutt and Spalko and a swarm of killer Siafu ants. Indiana, Mutt, Marion, Oxley, and Mac escape in an amphibious vehicle and arrive to the Temple of Akator, a Maya-style pyramid in the Amazon rainforest. Mac enters the temple with Indiana and the gang, claiming to be a CIA double agent working against the Soviets, but he is actually setting a trail of homing devices for Spalko to follow. The gang enters the temple, and Indiana uses the skull to unlock the entrance to a chamber tomb with 13 crystal skeletons sat on thrones, one lacking a head. Spalko inserts the skull onto the skeleton once the Soviets arrive and reveal Mac's cooperation once more. It starts speaking with the group via Oxley in an old Mayan tongue. According to Indiana, the aliens want to offer them a great gift. Spalko begs to know everything, and the skulls begin to transfer information into her head. Oxley regains his sanity as a doorway to another dimension appears above the chamber and says that the aliens are interdimensional entities that taught the Uga warriors their sophisticated technology. Mac and the troops are swept into the hole as Indiana, Mutt, Marion, and Oxley escape from the temple. The skeletons combine to form a single alien that continues to give Spalko knowledge. However, the knowledge overwhelms Spalko, causing her to burn and disintegrate, her dispersed essence sucked into the gateway as well. As the Amazon River floods the valley, the temple falls and a flying saucer emerges from the rubble. Indiana is reinstated and promoted to associate dean at Marshall College after they return home, and he and Marion marry.